Om Namah Shri Atirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhur Muhur. My namaskars to everyone gathered here. I am delighted to be in this institute. And after seeing the ambience here, and the devotional fervor in which you are getting your education, I would say that you are really very lucky children. You are really very lucky children to have such guardians in front of you, such inspiring people who are imbued with high idealism, who really want to do something to bring about a vast change in India, who are imbued with Vivekananda's spirit. The very name of this institute is great. It is Swamiji's name. So, and you are under their wing. So it is such a blessing. As you grow up in life, you will know what a blessing it was to study in this institute. I really wish you make the most out of it. Try to catch the spirit which builds up such institutions. Anything that bears this great name of Swami Vivekananda, that has the fire of his spirit behind it, isn't it? And you are studying in this kind of an institute. So today I have been asked to speak something about our spiritual and cultural heritage, the gems which we can draw for our young generation from our great spiritual heritage. Now, I know how alienated we are from many aspects of our spiritual heritage. So a little bit I would like to dwell on our foundational culture, the Upanishadic culture. Are you interested in it? The Upanishads, the Vedic thought? Yes? It's something very scientific, something very broad, inclusive, meant for intellectuals, something which will inspire the highest in you, if you think about it originally. So we will discuss a little bit of that, because you know you can actually love this country, love India, if you understand the roots of India. If you understand what this civilization is about. This is a civilizational entity, as she said in her introduction, which is the oldest, which predates all other civilizations, which predates the very concept of religion. And what is this civilizational entity about? Where are its roots? Where is its foundation? It lies in the Vedic thought. You know, once Sister Nivedita, have you heard of her name? She was Swami Vivekananda's Irish disciple. She once entered her classroom. She was so taken away with the idea of India and her spiritual heritage that she would inspire it in her students. She entered her classroom. Can I have that water here, please? And as soon as she entered her classroom, she told her girls, you know, if you want to understand this country, you must meditate on it. If you want to understand this country, please follow her words. These are not my words. What Nivedita is telling her students. If you want to know this country, you must meditate on Bharatvarsh. How will you know an entity if you have not given enough thought, enough meditation on it? And if you know this nation, you will love this nation. If you meditate, you will know. If you know, you will love. This is the way to love Bharatvarsh. This is the way to understand and love India. Meditation is the heart of everything. And she didn't stop with this. She sat down in the middle of the class and removed her rosary. You look at the powerful expression. This Irish woman who left everything in order to come and serve this country under Vivekananda's inspiration. She removed her rosary, took it in her hand, and started chanting loudly, Bharatvarsh, Bharatvarsh, Bharatvarsh. If you meditate like this on this land, you will know her. You will understand her. And if you understand her, you can't but love her. Today, if we just take this message, we can do a lot for this country. Because we do not understand Bharatvarsh. Even our primary school textbooks do not depict the Bharatvarsh that this country is and was. It is such a sorry state of affairs. We are sort of disconnected from our own history, from our own culture. If we want to find our roots, if we really want to be proud of this nation, just like how if you want to be proud of yourself, you look to your past, isn't it? You look to what you have achieved in the past. So also, if you want to be proud of this nation, see her past, that glorious past which goes back right to the Vedas. 4,000 years ago, when Europe was still a forest, the Americas were not yet discovered, Vedic inquiry, existential inquiry, the highest penetration into the science of consciousness itself was taking place here, along the Vedic belt. This search, this intense inquiry, not just speculation, diving into the highest form of yoga in order to uncover the truth about the human being. This was going on here, this research was going on here in a very big way. And the result of that was this Vedic literature which you find today. The essence of it is the Upanishads. How many of you have heard of the Upanishads? You know, Indian history begins from here. And we don't even know that word. There are a number of students who don't know what Upanishad means. So how will you know India? How will you love India if you don't know her? What are these Upanishads about? They are about you, about your real nature. What is the human being about? Is it just this body and mind? You look at the level of thinking. Can I just be this body and mind? Or is there some aspect of myself, some dimension of myself which transcends merely this body-mind complex? This is the inquiry. Now, who cannot be interested in this, tell me? We all know we live at the most 100 years maybe. After that, what lives over? Do I perish with that, the fall of the body? What is it that lives beyond death? Who am I truly? We all ask this question. It's an existential inquiry. But many times the answer is not forthcoming, so we just let go of the inquiry. But the Upanishads are a penetration into these existential questions. What is human life about? What is the goal of human life? What is human destiny about? Who am I actually? What is the unchanging element in me? Even when body and mind changes, what is it that does not change in me? This is the heart of the Upanishads. This is called existential inquiry. Vedant vichar कहते हैं हम हिंदी में. आपने सुना होगा? What does it lead to? It leads to your real nature, which is pure spirit, consciousness itself. That is the real I in all of us, functioning through this body-mind complex. So this is what the Upanishads are leading us towards, pointing towards. That if you make this inquiry originally, it's a do-it-yourself method, you know. It's like a personal research. There's no belief system here. This is the glory of the Indian spiritual heritage. You are not being asked to believe. We won't insult you by telling you, believe in this. Ask it for yourself. And you can dive into it by yourself. Yoga is the technology of Indian spirituality. And Vedanta is the science of Indian spirituality. The science of consciousness itself. And there is a way of, जैसे आपको science and technology बहुत अच्छा लगता है because it is something you can do. What is science? Science is a truth which is universal. Anywhere you are, you can do science. It's the same science you will be doing. Anywhere you are, anytime you are, the same laws hold. Wherever you are, whatever you do. So also is this science of human consciousness. The science of this research, this understanding is universal in nature. And it is very scientific. It is available to the rational intellect. With a certain amount of penetration, you can understand what it is about. And it is all-encompassing, all-inclusive. It doesn't exclude anything from human experience. Do you know that? It doesn't exclude anybody, any culture, any idea, any understanding is not excluded. It's all inclusive. That is the glory of this Vedic culture, that it provides a platform for everybody to be accepted. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. This was our understanding. Truth is one. Sages have called it variously. So everybody is accepted. And what is the fundamental fact about this heritage, this spiritual heritage? It is that you can conduct this research by yourself, into yourself. देखिए, if you know the whole world, लेकिन अपने बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं है, Does it make any sense to live in this world? You know everything about everything, you know? You know all of science, the different branches, you know arts, you know everything. But you do not know who you are. You do not know how you function, how you work, how your mind is working. You do not know the goal of human life. Does it make any sense to live like this? It doesn't make any sense. So, this science, the science of human consciousness, this understanding which the Upanishadic thought has to give us, is in great demand all over the world. Do you know that? You just heard I have been traveling a lot. Everywhere that I have gone, a scientific interpretation of the Upanishadic philosophy is in high demand, very much wanted, because everybody understands it is the subject that is interacting with the objective world. If I have no knowledge of the subject, no knowledge of myself, how will I interact maturely? How will I know? Because the mind is knowing, your mind is knowing something, isn't it? That is why this research is paramount, very important to the march of civilization, human civilization itself. And this is where India has a tremendous contribution to make. If you remain sensitive to this culture, you can draw enormously from it. You are the inheritors of this great culture, this great spirituality. Today, when I see Indian students in Indian universities suffering from depression, lack of enthusiasm, boredom, all sorts of substance abuse, all sorts of addictions, I really feel so sorry. With a philosophy like Vedanta behind you, with a psychology like yoga behind you, how can you falter? This is part and parcel of your own heritage. It's in your blood. So there is no question of ye karna hai ya nahi karna hai, ye le le ya nahi le le. There's no question of this. This is part and parcel, this should become part and parcel of your thinking. This is part of your educational apparatus. Because if you do not know enough about the subject, you cannot handle the objective world properly at all. All problems come when I don't know anything about this, I cannot control this. Then a little wrong word from somebody, it will put me into depression. A little negativity from somebody, it will put me into anger. It will put me into all sorts of problems if I do not know how to handle this mechanism, if I have no idea about it. And that is why a basis in yoga and Vedanta, an understanding of who you are and how you work, is fundamental to a mature life. Please know this. Science is all objective. Spirituality is subjective in its research. If you combine the two, you have a whole gamut of very luminous knowledge. And that is why we are trying to combine these two, the subjective science and the objective science. Let me just put a few questions to you here to help you understand how practical Vedanta is, Yoga and Vedanta. Dekhiye, it's a thought experiment. You have to participate in it. All young minds are here. Tell me, are you aware of your body, or is your body aware of you? You are aware of your body? Isn't it? Body is not aware of you. Now if I raise my hand, I am aware I raised my hand. My hand is not aware that I am here and it was raised. What does this simple experience mean? It means awareness is on the side of the subject. Everything else is objective to it. When I raise my own hand, I am aware I have raised my hand. Awareness belongs to the subject. And this hand is as much an object to me as anything else. So basically Vedanta is trying to point out only to this much: awareness belongs to you. You are awareness functioning through a body-mind complex. That is why the body and mind can be made perfectly objective. You are not merely body and mind. In fact, to identify yourself just with this body and mind is doing a great injustice to yourself. This is as much an object as anything else for you, the awareness. You are the Atman functioning through a body-mind complex. It is your own experience at any given moment of time. You have not noticed it, that's all. You are always aware, occasionally identified with your thoughts, your emotions, your body, the world of objects, but awareness you are always. Consciousness is your own property. It is your own being. It is functioning through a body-mind complex. So it appears that I am this entity. तो इतना अगर हमें समझ में आ जाए, how will we look upon ourselves? We are spiritual beings actually, having a human experience. We are not human beings wanting a spiritual experience, isn't it? It's pretty obvious in your own experience. आप थोड़ा सोच के देखो, you are aware entities functioning through a body-mind complex. So tracking the real you means tracking the higher dimensions of your awareness. बस इतना हमें समझ में आ जाए तो ऐसा समझो कि you get a grip over yourself, because then what happens, you know, when your mind is in various states, you will have the confidence to see it as an object. When anger is mounting in me, I will try to see it objectively. I am not anger. I am not the anger. I am not full of anger and about to explode. I will see it objectively. So I am able to control that anger. When I am in any form of negativity, still I, the subject, am seeing that negativity objectively. Any form of depression, any fear, any anxiety, I can see it objectively. So I can control it. If you cannot see it objectively, if you are mixed up with it, it will explode within you. You can't control it. So this is the great practical gain of this knowledge. It gives you a hold over this body and mind. It gives you a hold over your thoughts, over your emotions, over your entire system. And this is applied yoga. This is the great application of yoga. It will also give you a very deep understanding of life. आपने नचिकेता का नाम सुना है? Who was Nachiketa? He is the great hero of the Kathopanishad. At a young age, he asked some very fundamental questions about life. To whom? To Lord Yama. That is, the story goes like that. He asked about, I want to know what survives a man after death. What is it that remains over? And then Nachiketa, Lord Yama gives the entire Upanishad, what is called Kathopanishad. तो हमारे कल्चर में ऐसे icons हैं which are very inspiring, who are very inspiring because they are asking fundamental questions about life and existence. Who am I? If I stop thinking, what remains over? Do I remain? You see, if you stop thinking for a few fractions of a second, do you remain over or not? Tell me. Or well, there's nothing. कभी ये करके देखा है आपने? If you just stop thinking for a few seconds, milliseconds you can stop. तब क्या रहता है मन में? Is there awareness or nothing is there? If thoughts are not there, nothing is there? Something is there. What is there? Yes, be bold enough here. No formalities. See, if you stop thought in a state of yoga, you remain over as awareness. Karke dekho na. I told you it's a do-it-yourself method. If you practice even 5 minutes of yoga daily, you can bring your thinking in order, you can control it. So then only the beautiful experience you have of life will be yours. All these negativities, unnecessary thinking, wrong attitudes will just go out of your life. This is the way to enjoy life. But if you are not in hold of your mind, you know, it can take you anywhere. So a little bit of yoga, 5 minutes if you practice, 10 minutes if you practice, you can actually stop your thought process and remain over as awareness. That gives you a hold over your mind itself, over your emotions, over your thoughts, your attitudes, your behavior finally in the external world. So this is a great gain. All these practical principles you can draw from your own culture. Most of all, it will give you a very expanded, expansive heart. It will give you a spirit of all inclusiveness. You know, Vivekananda ke life mein kitne aise incidents hai, so inspiring. Once Vivekananda was sitting in Abu station, and one of his brother disciples came there, Turiyananji Maharaj, along with Swami Brahmananda, and they looked at Swamiji. Swamiji was heading for Bombay, and then they looked at him, and Swamiji looked at them, and Swamiji suddenly burst forth and said, Hari Bhai, I still really do not know what your religion is. but my heart has expanded immensely. My heart has expanded infinitely, and I breathe in agony at any single person's suffering also. I am not able to take it. And saying this, Swamiji was so filled with emotion, he actually broke down. Looking at Vivekananda's state, Turiyananji Maharaj thought that this is actually the state of Buddha. This spiritual realization which the Upanishads are speaking of brings about this transformation in the person. All expanded state of mind, all inclusiveness. This incident touched them so much, they understood that he is really a Buddha in the making. And his impact, which you know about in the West, it is all due to this cultivated heart and mind. Agar yog bal ho, yog shakti ho, Vivekanandas can be created. Isn't it? Agar ye bal na ho, you only live with your silly mind, untrained mind. It will just take you for a ride around life. Kathopanishad mein yahi bola jata hai. Let me give you a beautiful analogy from there. You know how human life is? It is like a chariot ride. The chariot is your body. The senses, they are the horses of the chariot. Please picture this in your mind. The chariot is your body. The horses which carry the chariot forward, they are your senses. The reins are your mind, your mental faculties. The charioteer who actually rides, who actually controls the chariot is your buddhi, your intellect. The Upanishad is telling us this. And the rider of this chariot is the Atman. Now the Atman, using your body-mind complex, is going along the road of life. The chariot is going along. But if the senses are not controlled, if the horses have absolutely no blinkers and are not trained, they will go anywhere, isn't it? So your chariot also will go anywhere. You will not reach your destination. The senses are actually like horses. So you know, one who comes into this way of thinking, first of all, regulation at this level. I will expose myself only to that which is good and noble and great in life. This is how a great life starts. Commitment to righteous living, commitment to honesty, commitment to the greatest principles of life. I will give my life for a great goal. I will not invest it in silly things. I will not waste it. This idealistic attitude should come into life. It starts with, I will keep my senses oriented towards great goals. The next thing is the reins, which are your mind. If the senses are in order, you know, to a great extent, the horses are blinkered in a chariot, which means actually directed towards one particular direction, the direction you want to move in. So if you keep the senses like that, the mind will be controllable. Who controls the mind? The buddhi, the charioteer. See, charioteer, driver is most important person in the vehicle, isn't it? If he is very alert and very good driver, you'll have a very smooth ride. So your buddhi is the driver of your life. This is what the Upanishad is saying. If it is awake, alert, alive, fully awakened and sharp, discriminative, analytical, understanding, it will give you a smooth ride in life. Otherwise, if the charioteer is drunk or half asleep, you never know where you will go. So also in your life, if the intellect is not trained and sharp and alert, you can go anywhere. So the senses, the mind and the intellect. The mind is in the hands of the intellect. The reins are in the hands of the charioteer. So with your intellect, you should be able to control your mind and your senses, through your senses to a great extent. If you do this, this rider of the Atman in you will have a smooth ride through life. He will reach his destination, his great goals in life. So this is a beautiful analogy given in the Kathopanishad. If you actually read Vivekananda's life, you will have practical demonstrations of these principles which the Upanishads are giving you. You know, Swamiji once said, a knower of Brahman becomes very calm and unruffled under all circumstances. He said this in the US. Because naturally the mind has come to rest in the self, in the Atman. It's under complete control. So he's calm and unruffled. Now there were a number of cowboys there who doubted How can a man remain calm and unruffled all the time? So they invited Swamiji to their village to lecture there. And one day Swamiji landed up in that village, and they were very happy to receive Swamiji. They called a group of their friends, and they upturned a tub and made Swamiji stand on that and asked him to deliver a talk. As he was delivering the talk, they went into the background and started firing at close range. All around Swamiji, bullets were whizzing past. But Swamiji was so absorbed in his subject, so collected, so calm, so unruffled. It didn't bother him at all. After the talk, when he got down, they came and shook hands with him, these cowboys, and said, Swamiji, you really are the most authentic person we have met, because you said it is possible for the mind to go into perfectly calm state. We saw you in that state. Bullets were whizzing past your head, and yet you were unruffled. And look at our minds. What have we to worry and fear and get anxious and depressed about? इतना क्या हुआ है हमारे जीवन में? Are bullets whizzing past us? But we go into such negative modes of mind. And among young students, when this is happening, it really gives so much pain to our heart. So raise yourself by yourself. It is there in your own culture how to do this. Uddhared atmana atmanam, Bhagavad Gita says. Na atmanam avasadayed, atmaiva atmano bandhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. You must raise yourself by yourself. Because you are your greatest friend or you are your greatest enemy. If you train the mind, you are your own friend. If the mind is totally untrained and wild and gross, you are your own enemy. You don't need another enemy to destroy you. This intelligence will work against you. So understand the value of human life, the nature of human life. If you invest in this knowledge, you will build this mechanism. You will build this personality. If you don't invest even a bit in self-knowledge, you're all outward turned, then Mahati Vinashti Upanishad says, because you never know how your chariot will go. So that is why this training, this understanding is part and parcel of our culture. Learn to draw from it. Let me give you another incident before we go into our question answer session. One or two other things I would like to point out too. This understanding so much percolated into the minds of our people, because this is a very powerful knowledge that it framed the nature of our culture. You know what is the meaning of culture? Culture किसको कहते हैं? Culture means it is actually the essence or the distillate of eons or centuries of philosophical thinking, understanding. The distillate, the very essence of that comes to us in a doable format, in something that you can actually do. That is what we call culture. So the culture of this land is derived from this great spiritual heritage, and that is why it is a culture that is cautious, responsible, which is guiding you along the right principles, even if they are difficult to practice. Please know this, your cultural ideals are very responsible ideals, taking you to the highest in life. You know, this is the only culture which will give you the distinction between Shreyas and Preyas. ये शब्द सुने हैं आपने? श्रेयस्कर मराठीमध्ये पण आहे. श्रेय आणि प्रेय. Shreyas means that which is good for you. Prayers means that which is merely pleasant. The two are different. Which culture will give you this very significant point? All that glitters is not gold. All that is pleasant is not good. Good is one thing, pleasure is another thing. If you want to gain something really great in life, follow the good. Not just the merely glittering, pleasurable things in life. This is the great distinction. Again, I have drawn from the Kathopanishad, which your culture gives you. So you see, your culture gives you ideas and ideals in a doable format, derived from your spiritual heritage. And that is what has made our country truly great, even in those agonizing centuries when we were under colonial rule. You know, great revolutionary movements rose in this country. You have heard of the Bhakti movement, which started right here. You have heard of the great intellectual movements in Bengal. They are all part and parcel of our culture. because we had this great background, transcendental philosophy behind us. Great personalities arose in this country. Look at Mahatma Gandhi, look at Vivekananda, look at Radhakrishnan. In Mahatma Gandhi's life, if you have read the Experiments with Truth, you will see how that beautiful mind developed to that level. You know, when Gandhiji was just 15 years old, there's a remarkable incident in his life. He needed some money to buy something, but his father was a very strict man, Karamchand Gandhi, so he didn't want to ask him. Now, how to get money? His elder brother, had a golden amulet. This is there in Experiments with Truth. He had a golden amulet which was etched. So, this Mahatma Gandhi, what he did was, he went there, Mohandas his name was, and he just scraped that gold from the amulet, and a large bit he could scrape off, and then he sold that, made some money, and used it for whatever purpose he wanted to use it. But within a week, he could not stand it. His own mind poked him so much. You stole and from your brother, and in this manner, when he was not there, without telling him. So he could not bear it after some time that I could do this. So what he did, he put the whole incident on a piece of paper and went and gave it to his father. His father was sitting and reading the newspaper. So he put it in his lap and he stood there silently with tears in his eyes. And the father kept down the newspaper and saw the chit he had written. In that it was written, I did such and such a thing. Please forgive me. But punish me, but don't punish yourself. And then Karamchand Gandhi looked up, and there were pearls of tears in the eyes of the father also. That this young lad is admitting what he has done, regretting for what he has done, and so ashamed, and yet so bold, so strong, and standing there for the first time. Mohandas understood truth liberates the mind. Truth gives power and strength. Truth gives this intense inner good feeling, faith in yourself, faith in God. Truth is the actual factor which liberates the human mind. He understood this, the father understood, and the father embraced the son. He understood a great bond was created between the two. He understood my son will never do this again because his own conscience will not allow it. So these are the beautiful incidents which go into the making of a Gandhi. The intense desire to be honest, to be truthful, to be idealistic, to make something great of oneself in life, to drive human life towards its true purpose, not to give in to silly pleasure, frivolity, to keep all this out of the range of your vision so that you are totally committed individuals of this great nation. This is the message you get from our great culture. And if you can draw these little things, you know, your life will be fulfilled. The great blessing of connecting with these ideas of your culture is it brings inner fulfillment and happiness in your own life. Jitna de sakoge, utna andar, you'll be filled with happiness. And if it's only about taking, you know, that life cannot bring you happiness. Vivekananda ka ye famous saying hai, he alone lives who lives for others. The rest are more dead than alive. If you are able to give, if you make something out of yourself, then only you will be able to give. Hai na? And that will bring great fulfillment into your life. Fulfillment doesn't lie in the senses. After some time, you yourself will understand this. It lies in this ability to expand your consciousness, expand your mind, reach a great goal, and then give out to your nation, give out to the world at large. If you can do this, you are truly inheritors of this great heritage, I would say. Otherwise, you have lost the beautiful meaning of life. अगर हमारे young people में ये idealistic outlook ना आए, it's a real loss for the nation. So inspire yourself, raise yourself by yourself. After having come into an institute like this, there must be no hesitation on your part. You must radiate confidence because you have understood the tattva, the meaning of this culture, the bounty of this culture, what it has to give you, and this legendary spiritual heritage. It is part and parcel of your own life. Aajkal, whatever you are observing by ways of religion, festivals, whatever, It is rooted in this great culture of inquiry, research. It's the science of consciousness. Draw something from it and your life will be elevated greatly. So with this understanding, I want your participation. I just don't want to go on like this. So we will begin the question answer session. Are you ready for question answers? Do you have questions?
Namaskaram, ma'am. How can you learn from the teachings of the Upanishads the practical implications in management?
In management, very good. You see, fundamentally today in management studies this has come in. Fundamentally, how do you manage the subject? This science only the Upanishads are able to give, because they have studied the human subject to his depths. If I cannot handle my mind, if I cannot manage my mind, basically, tell me, can you manage your time? Can you manage the other person in front of you? There is something called ambiguity management today in management studies. Can you manage that? If you cannot manage your own mind, if my mind is constantly reacting to things, reacting to people's words, reacting to people's emotions, can I manage my situation in life? I cannot. So Upanishads fundamentally, what knowledge do they give you? How to manage your own mind? How to turn it a little inward? If you are able to do that, you will find the center of gravity of your personality is within yourself, not in the other person. Once you find the center of gravity here, you are functioning in a very different way. Nothing can ruffle you. Nothing can throw you off balance. So then you can handle problems, you can handle problematic people, you can handle ambiguities, you can handle time. All of this, management of all sorts of emotions, everything is only possible if I am on a very stable platform. So this knowledge comes from Yoga and Vedanta. That is why it should be part and parcel of every curriculum, because subject is functioning in the objective world, isn't it? Now, how, in what format does this knowledge come to you is, see, basically in yogic sciences, we have a huge theory of what mind means. मन क्या चीज़ है? आपने सोचा है कभी? हमारा मन जो है, जिसके द्वारा हम काम कर रहे हैं, what is it? There are 4 aspects to this mind. Manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. आपने सुने होंगे ये शब्द? So this manas is sankalpa vikalpatmika, the cogitative aspect of your mind. You are constantly thinking. That is called manas. Then chitta is like your memory bank. Ahankar is ahamatmika vritti, which means the sense of I within you. See, all aspects of your personality are being covered in this. Now, it's a study of these 4 aspects of our brain. Buddhi is, of course, the intellectual aspect, the determinative aspect, faculty in you. So, in charo vastuon ko train karne se, your entire mind will be in your hands. Your thinking aspect, your memories, your discriminative aspect, your eye sense. If all of these are trained and elevated to a certain level, your mind remains in your hands. So that if your mind remains in your hands, you know how to handle every situation around you. This is the glory of Yoga Vedanta. It gives you this training.
Is yoga and meditation only a way, or is there something else also?
Yeah, actually you begin with yoga. You begin with some form of meditative practice. 5-10 minutes I told you. Every day 5 to 10 minutes if you invest. Concentrated time, not distracted time. If you invest in handling your mind, which means trying to stop your mind for a few seconds, maybe reading, doing a prayer. Just now you had such a beautiful prayer before we started. Chanting something like that, a little bit of good reading every day in the morning for 2-3 minutes. A little bit of Vivekananda if you read every day in the morning. You know, your mind will just clear up, because this is very elevated thinking. But if you get up early in the morning and go on your WhatsApp or Facebook, first thing in the morning, immediately your mind gets distracted. ये समझ में आ रहा है आपको? And is it worth it? What have you to share at this age? Tell me just now. It must be aiming at a high goal in life. Tomorrow when you become somebody, you can share your insights with others. But at this moment of time, what you should be doing, you alone think. I don't want to tell you should be doing this. You think and see what is good for me. इसीलिए start your day with 5 minutes of yoga. It will bring your mind in order. It will tell you what you should be doing. ऐसे ही start करते हैं. How do we start on this path? By a little bit of meditation you start. Then throughout the day you are in an alert, alive state with guided thinking, with guided principles. If principles don't guide your life can go anywhere. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं connect with these great personalities and these great ideas. They are part and parcel of your own culture, isn't it? You know, Shivaji became such a great ruler because Jijabai inspired him right from childhood. है ना? Such inspirations are there in our culture. This is the essential womanhood of India. आपने मदालसा का story सुना है? Have you heard of the story of Madalasa? She was a great queen. There are so many girls here, that's why I'm saying these things. She inspired her little infants, her little children with Upanishadic thought. As soon as the child was born, she would sing Shuddhosi, Niranjanosi, and the child was imbued with all these great ideals. Look at Rani Padmini. Look at Holy Mother Shri Sharda Devi's life. This is the essential womanhood of India. Always idealistic, always turned towards the highest. So you have such bright inspirations in our culture. Whom are you trying to follow? जहाँ पर great ideals नहीं है, वहाँ पर कुछ भी नहीं है. This gradually you will understand in life. Hadi Rani का नाम सुना है? Rajasthan's great heroine, I would say, was Hadi Rani. Okay, this is homework for you. You will try to find out who she was and what she did. Unimaginable lives of great sacrifice, great idealism, great culture, inner culture are there in our heritage. Draw from them. This is the second thing, this is the second way in which you can practice yoga and Vedanta. You connect with great lives. You read inspiring literature. So first thing is 5 minutes of yoga every day. Second thing is connecting with great literature, the lives of great persons.
So you spoke about, you have a good history and treasures of knowledge. So what exactly went wrong? So when I'm speaking to you today, you can just take a look at how the roads are. And if you can compare to Nagasaki where an atomic bomb was dropped, look how the city is now today. So they did not have that culture what we had. So why are we at the stage where we are and Nagasaki is the stage and has a future plan, which we do not? Thank you.
No, not that we don't have a future plan. We are not working that way towards it. That's our problem. I know very well the kind of mindset we have developed over the centuries. We have become lazy. Vivekananda pointed out to this also. We have become lazy. We have become jealous of each other. We have our own negativities collectively as a group. Now, it's no use dwelling on these negativities. What we should actually dwell on is every other country marching towards so much of economic progress. Why is it not coming into India? Not that it is not coming, but we have a long way to go as yet. That is basically because we have not been able to make all of this great history, this great heritage practical. We have not been able to do that for the simple reason we are not even sensitive to it. See, I told you, truth, honesty is derived from a direct inclination towards the truth about things. The heart of the heart of existence itself. If we really had that sentiment, truth would become part and parcel of our life. How can you be dishonest? How can you take a bribe? Isn't it? So everything has a spiritual background. If we are not at all sensitive to that background, no matter what our history was, what we are today is what is mattering to us. If we are not at all sensitive to that heritage, what is it that will prevent a person from doing wrong? What is it that will prevent? See, a person can very well say, if doing harm to somebody gives me pleasure, why should I not do it? Why should you not do it? Because that other person is you in another form. आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है? Empathy starts like this. The other person, I should be able to feel what that other person is feeling. And then starts empathy. The another person struggling in front of you, suffering in front of you, and you don't do anything about it. How can this be possible? So change will occur when we become like this, so empathetic, so full of feeling, so full of fellow feeling and oneness. The oneness of existence is the heart of the Upanishadic teaching. When we become full of this feeling, great change will come into our country. And as long as we are insensitive, you know, a very worldly understanding gives you total insensitiveness to everything. Plunging into prayers will make you totally insensitive, gross. Then this real development will go. So you have beautiful minds, you are such young children. Now if you connect with these great ideas, I am telling you, you can achieve a lot. You can make India the way you want it to be. Don't just compare it to other countries. This nation has so much potential. Ek baar Vivekananda had seen a vision. You know, when he was traveling in the Punjab area, he saw a rishi. It was a vision in which he saw a rishi standing on the banks of a huge river, chanting a mantra loudly. That river was Indus. And the rishi was a Vedic rishi, chanting the mantra. Swamiji even remembered the mantra. Ayahi varade devi trakshare brahmavadini gayatri chandasa mata brahma yoni namostute. It's a Vedic mantra which today we use for Saraswati Puja. That rishi was chanting that mantra, and Vivekananda saw clearly clouds of dark despair were coming upon this nation, but that Vedic chanting was dispelling those clouds. That chanting was creating such an aura of light all around that the dark clouds of despair, of invasion, of subjugation, of negativity, of ignorance, of superstition were just being dispelled by the power of Vedic thought. And later on Swamiji declared, the Upanishads are the great mine of strength. In them lies strength enough to revolutionize the whole world. And that is why Vivekananda would inspire this psychology. He once said, you know, from our bewildering mysticism, mythology, not mysticism, mythology, we must be able to draw concrete moral forms. From our bewildering yogism, we must be able to draw the most practical psychology. And this must be put in a way that even a child is able to understand it. And this is my life's work, Vivekananda says. So you see, you can draw enormously from this culture for a great future. And that potential is there in this culture. Now it is in your hands. Please see how you can do it. Take the inspiration from these ideas and work your way upward. Even when Swamiji was on the rock on Kanyakumari, he clearly saw the bright future of India. That is why he went to the West. He saw the potential. You see, if a child shows great potential, won't you predict a great future? Morning shows the day, as they say. This civilization has showed a great past history, which means it has a tremendous future. Believe in this. Unless you believe in this, how will you work for India? Yes.
Swamiji had once said, we need Brahma Teja and Kshatriya Virya.
Yes.
Can you please touch on that for their benefit?
Yes. You see, Swamiji's mantra this was, Brahma Tejas and Kshatriya Virya, he used to say. The Kshatriya's spirit of valor. You must be able to achieve things, not just think. In this world, in real life, you must become achievers. And Brahma Tejas, the knowledge born of consciousness, the clarity born of consciousness must come into our life. Not a muddled brain, not a negative, wrongly conditioned brain, not a fearful brain. A combination of these two is the ideal for our youth force. Kshatriya Virya and Brahma Tejas. Will you try to combine these two? Some idea of this now you have. What he means to say by this. This will come into your life only if you read something of Vivekananda, you know. That spirit you should be able to catch. अगर इतना आप करो, आपके लाइफ में सब कुछ आएगा. Catch the spirit of that man. That is the revolutionary spirit of transforming India. A little bit you catch it and you'll see how your life will fly. Shall we end the session here? Thank you very much.